Now with more, Pete Hoekstra, former Michigan congressman and advisor to President-elect Trump's transition team, and Matt Bennett, former deputy assistant to President Clinton. Great to see you both. So, Pete, let me ask you, because, Barack Obama has made clear he wants to get rid of these last detainees, or at least 19 of them. So the White House was asked today, are you going to take into account President-elect Trump's request that he not transfer anymore, that a new administration is coming in, and that, Donald Trump made an issue out of this on the campaign trail, saying that there's not going to be any more transfers and we're not going to close it. And the White House said, we will not be taking that into account. Your thoughts?
I think that's exactly right. President Obama is going to try to fulfill his first promise, one of his first promises that he made when he came into office. He's going to be unable to do it. And the end result is, with these 19 people that he most likely will transfer out by January 20, many of these are going to be the exact same people that Donald Trump is going to have to go back in his administration, that they're going to have to capture. We are in a hot war. The threat from radical jihadism today is as great as any time since 9/11. ISIS is taking credit for about 1,100 suicide attacks in 2016. You've got the attacks going on in Turkey and Germany and France and those types of things. You've got failed states in Syria, Iraq, and Libya. The threat is real. We are in a worse situation than we were in 2009 when this president came into office. We should not be letting these people free.
Well, what about it, Matt? Should President Obama give any thought to the desires of the incoming commander-in-chief on these 19 detainees?
No, he should not. We have one president at a time. President Obama will be president until noon on January 20th, and he has to act like it. If we somehow decided that between November and January we were going to have two presidents, or that the incumbent president was going to do nothing for 3 months, that would be a signal to the world that they could do whatever they liked for those 3 months and nothing would happen. That Obama has to act like the president. And Gitmo has been a super-rating sore in the war on terror from the beginning. You don't have to take my word for it. That's what Colin Powell says. That's what John McCain says.
But we've just had this election in which Donald Trump made this an issue. I mean, he said, we are keeping it open. We're going to load it up with some bad dudes. Believe me, we're going to load it up. So this was at play and an open issue in the 2016 presidential election, and the American public sided with Donald Trump.
Well, they voted for Donald Trump to be president. You can't say they sided with him on every single issue that he talked about. In fact, on many, if you look at the polling, they don't agree.
I'm taking this from Barack Obama, who, when he was running, whenever he got when he got elected and tried to put anything into play, he'd say, I disclosed this. I disclosed this when I was running around. I made this an issue. So I don't know. You tell me, Congressman Hoekstra, whether turnabout is fair play, and he should be held to that same account, that the will of the American people has apparently shifted now, if you follow his logic.
Well, turnabout should be fair play, number one, because Donald Trump did win on these issues. But turnaround should be fair play because bottom line is the policies of President Obama in fighting radical jihadism have failed. This president gave the radical jihadists just about everything from a perception standpoint they could have asked for. He engaged with the Muslim Brotherhood. He recognized
he gave Osama bin Laden a bullet between the eyes.
He gave Osama bin Laden a bullet, but when it came long term, he embraced the Muslim Brotherhood. He supported their efforts to change the governments in Egypt and Libya and fostered the kind of chaos that we see today. The policy, Trump's policy, and his words should be listened to because they set us on a new direction that enable us to hopefully defeat radical jihadists. They're not going. You're right. They're not going to be.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And it's always a hassle to transfer these guys, and nobody really wants them. And then we get like a promise from Yemen that they're going to watch them really closely. Great to see you guys.
Good. Thank you.
Megan. Thanks.